Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Scared Soldier bringing another Borderlands 3 video, and in today's video we are bringing back Pain Zane. Since it did so well last time, we thought we'd make a version 2 for you guys, level 57. And of course, Mayhem 2.0 is coming out next week on Thursday, April 23rd. So we got to get you guys ready and give you some variations of builds to use. So of course, if you guys are not familiar with the Pain Zane version 1, it is basically a clone and drone setup. And the way the setup is that it really utilizes your clone for mobbing, so it actually makes them a utility and do some damage on the battleground rather than just always killing him off to proc ASC action skill and anointments. We actually use him in the battleground. So without further ado, let's look into what this is all about. So the first two slots here, I would recommend weapons for Zane. So of course, a redistributor is a must-have. Pretty simple, self-explanatory. The other weapon I'm using is Old Ridian. The reason being is because there's a lot of enemies who are immune in the game to like radiation, cryo, and all that stuff. I'm talking more about the heavyweights when it comes to the Maliwan Takedown. So whenever those guys become immune to radiation, you just pull out the Old Ridian and you absolutely melt those individual targets. Slot 3 and 4, these are going to be for your clone. This is going to be the Shocker and the Lob. The Shocker is kind of like a Lob in the fact that it shoots one orb that splits into 3, which does a lot of damage with your clone. And then of course the Lob, they did kind of nerf, I don't want to call it nerf because it still does a lot of damage, but when you use it, it does a lot of damage because of course you can shoot those orbs really fast. But originally this shot 3 orbs at one time. Now it only shoots 1 orb every shot, which means that when your clone uses it, it's going to be weaker for your clone because obviously 3 orbs a shot at once is going to do way more damage than 1 at a time, but it still is a viable option. The other options you can use, and my favorite options of course, are going to be the Hell Shock. This one absolutely shreds with your clone. Your clone actually really does a lot of damage with the Hell Shock. The other one that's really fantastic is the Insider. The Insider is awesome with your clone, so definitely pick up those 2 guns. And then also you can use the Scourge, the Scourge, whatever, however you guys want to call it. That's a good RPG as well to take off the enemy shields. Now let's get into our shields. So the shield we are using personally is the Run and Gun Sidorak, and the anointment you want to have is the Sentinel movement speed for the mobbing portion of the whole Maliwan Takedown anyways, or if you're doing Slaughter Shaft, Proving Grounds, whatever, definitely have this anointment on. So we have the Grenade Thrown anointment for our grenade, and the reason why we're using the Recurring Hex is because when this grenade is thrown, it splits into multiple other grenades, which helps keep our action skills full and also keeps our kill skills active by dotting and doing a lot of damage. So that is definitely something you want to have. Now the other honorable mentions, when you guys go to like a boss like Wotan, Grave Ward, and all those things, I want you guys to carry ASE, action skill, and anointments with you. So things like shock damage or fire damage or whatever boss you're going to, definitely carry one of those on you because we are going to be using the clone for ASC procs to do more and more damage, because essentially your clone's not going to do a lot of damage to things like Wotan or Grave Ward, so you're better off using ASC anointments for that situation. Obviously the class mod I'm using is Seeing Dead. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then the Pearl of Inevitable, I'm using this one because it's very easy to keep those consecutive hits up. If you guys are not familiar with the way the consecutive hits work, quickly, as long as your grenades are doing damage, your action skills are doing damage, even if you are not doing damage, it will keep your consecutive hit up to maximum potential. So with our Sentinel and our clone doing damage at the same time, it's very easy to keep this active. Next, the skill tree, we are doing the Hitman tree first, and of course we are expecting to Violent Speed, Violent Momentum, maxed out all that stuff, get our reload speed from here, Drone Delivery to drop our recurring hexes, Death Follows Close to buff and enhance the duration of our kill skills. Salvation is going to give us all of that health steal that we need. Violent Violence for that awesome fire rate to give us more DPS. Same of Playing Dirty, give us more DPS and extra projectile, which is absolutely OP. And then Good Misfortune, this is what's going to help us keep infinite action skills active as long as basically we are shooting enemies. And finally, Seeing Red, this is going to give us that versatility. So if we also decide to take this build to like a boss like Grave Ward, Wotan, what else is there, Trant, Tyrene, things that don't have maybe a lot of ads per se, we can right away when we get into the fight call in all our action skills and then do maximum damage for 15 seconds, which is awesome. And then finally we have the double agent tree, and this is where our clone is going to get buffed up. So first, obviously, we're going to buff Zane, so we're going to get Synchronicity, Donnybrook, Borrow Time for that action skill duration. And then Fractal Frag's probably one of the clone's best perks because he absolutely spams grenades. Like he will throw, like for example, the Sentinel will throw one grenade every 15 seconds. In that 15-second can your clone can throw anywhere between 2 to 4 grenades. So it's pretty insane. Next, we have the Quick Breather. This is going to keep our clone alive because we do want to actually use him in battle. We don't want to just kill him off with the double banger augment. We want to actually use him and see him do damage and throw grenades for this whole concept of the build. So if he's in trouble, we just swap places with him and we give him a free 50% health buff. Then we put a pocket full of grenades. This is great because again we will be consuming quite a bit of grenades between our Sentinel and our clone using up grenades, and also with Boom Enhance, which just for calling in your clone, it will consume up to 3 grenades to give him more damage bonus, more health, and all that kind of stuff. So definitely going to want here to regenerate grenades. Then we got Supersonic Mana to move faster and do more damage. Pretty self-explanatory. We have the Trick of Light. So I'm going to be putting a video right here to explain to you guys how that works. Alright guys, so quickly I wanted to demonstrate the Trick of Light for those who don't know. So for you guys who missed it real quick, the Trick of Light is right here, and this basically gives you bonus crowd damage to enemies who are not targeting ZANE, and you get 36% bonus damage, a cryo of course, with the help of Which One's Real. This helps right when we call out our clone to make the enemy start to target our clone, and just by having a clone available and in the battlefield, this distracts some of the enemies. So I would say about 50% of the enemies take about 36% damage, and the other ones will be chasing after you. So I'm going to show you real quickly guys. I'm not going to be using the Sentinel, so I will not be getting bonus cryo damage. I'm just going to shoot normal kinetic damage. Alright, so we got some enemies. So you're going to see really quickly right here, I'm just shooting right here. So you're going to see just one type of damage. So 9,804. It's just kinetic, there's no cryo or anything like that. Now we're going to call out our clone. Boom.
Now entering the clone zone.
And we're going to start shooting the enemies now. We'll wait for the hexes to get out of there. And you're going to see right here 2 types of damage now. So yes, we are doing 11,000 extra cryo damage right here. And a kinetic 28,000 damage. So that's how the Trick of Light works. Alright, so now that you guys know how that works, yeah, the Trick of Light is very powerful, and about 50% of the enemies will be targeting your clone, meaning they will be taking 36% more cryo damage. So pretty awesome. And then finally, Double Barrel. Not only does Double Barrel allow you to get a copy of your currently equipped weapon, this also gives you a free 25% damage whenever you swap places with your clone. So you activate your clone, I would recommend immediately swapping places with him, and as long as your clone is active, you will continually get that 25% damage buff. Now when your clone goes away or he dies, then you will lose that buff. So that is a really cool perk, though with the Double Barrel, it's free gun damage. So without further ado, here's my Guardian rank for those who want to see it again. I'm at 478. Now let's get into some gameplay and see just how good this build is. So we are at the takedown now, and we just gave our clone the shocker. Now that's the shotgun that I was telling you guys before, and you see that that gun is really nice for stripping shields because it is shock, and you can see that it splits into 3 orbs after the clone shoots it, which is really nice, and he shoots it quite fast. So you see that all those enemies were distracted by my clone, they all ran to him, so I just got a free kills there. They're all distracted, and you see that he's shooting the shocker quite fast, to be honest, and he's stripping all the enemy shields, so I just got to go in and shoot them up. So you see here we're taking advantage of the ASC, and we're going to take our recursion and completely smack the Kraken in one burst of the recursion, just how I like it. Also, by calling back my clone in before I shoot, I get my synchronicity 20% extra damage with the clone active as opposed to not having him active. So that was a bonus. Doing the same thing here. Let's see if we can do it in one shot. Damn, he almost blue screen too. Damn, hella damage. Alright, so same thing guys, we're just showing you guys off the ASC, and in one shot we just killed 2 of the Valkyries, and unfortunately this one didn't want to jump down for us. We could have killed all 3 of them, but nonetheless we got all 3 of them right there. Very easy, lots of damage. All right, we're over at the bridge, guys, and you guys are seeing it in action. I'm not using a barrier, so you can see that it's very, very viable to not really use a barrier for survivability, especially when you have salvation. And you can see there's a ton of enemies here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my ASC anointment. I'm going to pull out the recursion, and I'm going to try to take out all these 6 enemies right in front of me. And we were successful right there, yes. That is the power of the recursion, and again we are also adding shock damage and incinerate damage to that shot, so making that really, really ridiculous. That is why I like to use the clone for situations like that. So let's do it one more time and have a little fun. We're going to end our action skill to activate more shock damage and incinerate damage, and there you have it, guys. One shot everything. So as long as there's mobs, you're gonna one shot things. Alright, we're going to go ahead with the same principle here. So now this is when this is going to be important to bring the ASC with us. We were having a little fun before, but this is when I want you guys to pull it out. So we are going to shoot the outer part of the barrier with the recursion with our ASC anointment, and it's going to do maximum damage, as you guys see. We're also having the cutsman, so that is just going to do hella damage right off the rip. And we have our clone. Of course, our clone is not going to do too much damage to Wotan, so we're using him as a utility to just proc ASC action skill end. And what we're doing is we're running around Wotan, letting him spawn the adds so that we can do maximum damage with the recursion, because if there's no enemies around, the recursion won't do any damage pretty much. So that is when I pull out the cutsman, when there's no enemies. But when there's a ton of enemies, the recursion is a very easy way to clear out a huge crowd, because it's just like ping pong. So again, same thing, and our action skill, we're going to shoot the outer part of Wotan's shield, and you're going to see that it is absolutely going to melt him. Boom. We don't even have to go inside. We don't have to do any of the dirty work. We can just stay out here, have a good time, and shoot up Wotan. And with that being said, guys, that's pretty much all the information you guys need to know about the build. The last thing I will leave you guys on is that, in my opinion, with the clone drone, the barrier drone, all these other popular builds, I believe that the best way to maximize ZANE is by having all 3 in your arsenal. And what I mean by that is, when you're going into the proving grounds or slaughter shaft, definitely the barrier and the sentinel is the best way to go. The Malian takedown is special because it's kind of a combination of all those things. In the beginning, you're going against a lot of adds, you're doing a lot of mobbing, so that for that portion I would recommend using the barrier, because again, the barrier synchronized with the redistributor is just another level of power. But when it comes to boss fighting like Wotan, when you get to that point, or the Valkyries, that's when the clone could be very useful, because the clone doesn't do too much damage. So I find he's more of a utility as when it comes to proccing your ASC action skills, and ASC action skill and anointments will do the most damage possible with ZANE, especially if you equip the snowdrift and slide shoot while those ASC anointments are active. You will do an astronomical amount of damage. So definitely when you get to the boss fights, pull out the clone with the drone, and then you can just keep ending the clone to get your ASC anointments, and that would be the best way to play with ZANE. But with that being said, guys, thank you again for watching the video. Please smash that like button for your boy, and also subscribe to the channel for more content. Mayhem 2.0 is coming out soon, so you don't want to miss the next builds. So thank you again, guys. It's your boy Sky Soldier signing out. Peace.